I don't think most women fail to build additional income streams because they lack ability. They stay stuck because they're overwhelmed, overthinking, and trying to build the perfect version of something before they allow themselves to start. And honestly, I understand that because I lived it myself. There was a version of me that spent years consuming content, researching options, planning out approaches, and never quite crossing the line into doing the thing. And it wasn't because I was lazy, it was because I'm intelligent, and intelligent women tend to see complexity early, which means we also see the risk, the uncertainty, the possibility of visibility and judgment and failure and looking crazy. And we see all of this before we ever see momentum. And that combination keeps a lot of women in what I call permanent preparation mode. You're researching, you're planning, you're consuming, you're learning, you're watching, you're thinking, but you're not quite moving. If you're new here, my name is Nick Scott. I'm the founder of Her Income Edit, and I'm someone who has spent years on both sides of this. I've been building businesses online since 2008. I've had a corporate career. I've been laid off, and I've coached women through this exact stuck place. So when I say I understand permanent preparation mode, I'm not speaking from the outside looking in. And the internet makes this significantly worse because every time you search how to start an online business, you get immediately buried under courses, funnels, branding advice, content strategies, AI tools, sales systems, audience building frameworks, passive income promises, and 10 different people telling you 10 different things about which one you need to do first. And eventually your brain starts to believe that you need all these things before you can start, and you don't. In fact, one of the biggest reasons that women stay stuck is because they're trying to build an entire ecosystem before they validated a single offer. And here's the thing, that is genuinely backwards, and nobody talks about it clearly enough. Let me say something that might free somebody from this pattern. You don't need a massive audience to start making online. You need one problem and one clear solution. Many women delay action because they believe they need more followers, a bigger platform, more visibility, and a consistent content presence before they can charge for anything. No, you need conversations, because your first clients almost never come from strangers on the internet. They come from your existing network. They come from referrals, former coworkers. They come from people who already know your skills and what you've done. And this is one of the beliefs I push back on the hardest because I've lived the other side of it firsthand. I have a large social media audience, and still I have felt financially vulnerable. My big social media following didn't protect me when my corporate role was eliminated. My audience is not a plan. Skills are a plan. And if I hadn't understood that, I might still be waiting for my follower count to reach some imaginary threshold before giving myself permission to build something real. I also learned this in a very different way during my corporate chapter. Like a lot of professionals, I had accumulated equity over my years at the company. I'm talking about stock options and unvested shares, the things that were supposed to represent ownership, long-term upside, and a certain kind of protection, right? And then after my separation, I looked at my vested options and found out they were priced above the estimated share value. The thing that was supposed to represent ownership potentially wasn't worth what I thought it was. And I had no control over any of the circumstances that determined that. And that moment, it clarified something very important for me. True ownership isn't theoretical. It isn't tied to decisions other people make. The only asset that genuinely cannot be eliminated, repriced, or reorganized out from under you is the one you own directly. I'm talking about your skills, your relationships, your systems, your offers, your business. Another reason women stay stuck is because they keep waiting to feel ready. And I want to call this out clearly because readiness is a moving target. You think one more course, one more certification, one more month to get things organized, one more strategy session, and then you'll be ready to start, right? And then suddenly years have passed by. Meanwhile, someone with considerably less experience but more willingness to move has already built something. She's learning from it, she's refining it, and she's working with paying clients. Not because she's more qualified, but because she allowed herself to start before certainty arrived. This is especially true for high achieving women because perfectionism is a dangerous trap for people who have been professionally rewarded for precision. In most jobs, getting it right before you ship it is valued. Attention to detail is praised. Thoroughness is a professional strength. But entrepreneurship is iterative by nature. In entrepreneurship, you refine by doing. You get clear by testing. You improve by interacting with people and circumstances. You cannot think your way into confidence. You build confidence through evidence. And evidence only comes through action. And this is also why so many programs and courses fail the women who invest in them. They overload people with information without helping them implement a single bit of it. Strategy without execution creates a specific kind of frustration. You leave inspired, you feel like you finally understand what to do, and then you sit alone trying to figure out how to apply all these things to your specific situation. And when it doesn't immediately work, it starts to feel like the problem is you, and it's not. The problem is that the information without structure does not produce results. That's why implementation support matters so much more than most people realize going in. And what many women need isn't more information. What they need is clarity, structure, support, accountability, and proximity to other women who are doing the same thing. Because entrepreneurship feels much less abstract and much less terrifying once you can see someone who looks like you, who came from where you came from, building the same thing. That visibility matters. That's why the community piece of any serious program isn't just a nice to have. It's often what makes the difference between finishing the program and completely abandoning it. So if you've been stuck in research mode, if you've been consuming content without moving, if you're waiting for the perfect moment that keeps not arriving, I want you to hear this clearly. You don't need to have everything figured out before you start. You need a first offer, a first conversation, a first client, and a first step. Momentum creates clarity in a way that planning alone never can. And in the next video, I want to walk you through what building that second income stream can look like. And I want to talk about it step by step. Okay? I'll see you in the next one.